helps them learn how to use their personal power in useful ways so that they can be contributing members of society.
So, anybody have any thoughts on that? So, a guide is a person who is available to help the children navigate social situations, express big emotions, and learn self-regulation. Positive guidance is an approach to working with children that considers the physical environment, the emotional environment, children's development, adult expectations, and the learning opportunities that exist within every interaction. Positive guidance is more than just using positive language, although that is part of it. Strategies exist to address challenging behavior as they occur, as well as ways to prevent the behaviors from occurring in the first place. So using strategies like what we're going to talk about is not going to end every challenging behavior. As with any set of skills, the development of social and emotional skills is complex and takes time to master. So I don't expect everybody to be doing positive guidance perfectly tomorrow. I do expect us to be practicing it and for our classes to see that there is a difference. As they start to see and feel the difference in us, they're going to start responding to that in ways that are different than how they have been. Excuse me. So, positive guidance is a way of interacting with children that teaches them the skills they need to be successful members of the community. It is not a magic wand. Sorry, it won't happen overnight. We can't be like, boop, I'm being positive with you today. You're going to be so good. It does mean, oh, I feel like it got ahead of my, yes, I'm so mad at my notes got ahead. Sometimes that happens. Okay, so here's some of the strategies that positive guidance includes. If you have questions, we will certainly go over these. But these are not only described and given you practical examples in the course, but there's a very in-depth part to each one of these things, and they work with each other. So, okay, so the first part is we're going to define our limits and expectations. We're going to have rules. We're going to model, offer choices, and redirection. So offering choices always looks like having this or this, and they have to be things that you can agree to. You cannot say, do you want to pull your pants up right now? Oh, Miss Kaylee. Yeah. I'm only calling her out because she caught herself yesterday and said to a child, I'm so sorry I phrased it that way. You need to pull your pants up right now. Sometimes we just need to say what you're going to do. But if there's a choice we can offer, let's offer a choice. This is Love and Logic 101. And we all took our Love and Logic in the classroom. Love and Logic 101 says, when it is possible, offer 2 acceptable choices. So that way, when it is not possible, you can say, I'm so sorry, but right now it's my choice. I give you lots of choices, but right now I have to make the choice. Okay? Redirection. Redirection looks like, oh, we can't climb on the chairs, but when we get outside, we can climb on the playground. Or, I'm so sorry, but I can't have you in this center. I would like for you to come over here. Or, instead of stop coloring on the walls, here's a piece of paper to color on. I hope none of your kids are coloring on the walls, but I get it if they do. Like, it happens. Redirection looks like offering them something that's similar, offering a trade for a child who doesn't want to share a toy, especially a baby. One of the things that goes into in the infant toddler stage is, sorry, this is Kira asking about going to urgent care. Pause, 1 second.
It's okay. Hey, which bathroom do we use? Is there one in here?
Nope, you gotta use the breezeway.
There's a
Far walk.
I mean,
Yeah,
form a
hatchet
little wall
and a
around
flashlight.
she's asking about getting her eyes flushed out. She's not here, she's in California.
Wow.
She's supposed to be flying back tonight.
Do you want to step out and call her?
No.
Because a lot of these things seem difficult to reason through, because one, the language barrier, where everything is physical, and then trying to reason with, how do I say, please don't hit them?
Right.
Hit
So-
this instead.
so
I
with-
want to eliminate the hitting
with-
altogether.
Absolutely. And so with ones and twos, what they recommend, because ones and twos experience the world through their hands and their mouths, okay? They do not have the logical thinking that goes on up here. And so redirection, redirection, redirection.
Yeah.
Let's go play over here.
Mhm.
I see that you like hitting. Can we hit on a drum? Right? Like, let's give them a way that they can express themselves. One of the concrete things that they use is ones are going to put stuff in their mouth. So we want to teach kids not to put stuff in their mouth in a child care setting? Absolutely. Is it going to happen with 1-year-olds?
Nope.
They're still going to put stuff in their mouth. And so if they are putting a toy in their mouth that should not be in their mouth, give them a toy that they can put in their mouth. Let's let them have that toy because their brain is inputting so much information through their mouth and their hands. And it is not developmentally appropriate to tell a 1-year-old, you can't put anything in your mouth while you're in this class. It is more developmentally appropriate to give them a toy that they can put in their mouth and let sanitize it later.
Yeah.
Same with some of the 2-year-olds. Obviously, there are certain toys we don't want them putting in their mouth because what if they swallow it? What if it scratches them? But if they really are having a sensory deficit, let's give them something to fill that deficit. Because that is their communication. I need something in my mouth.
Yeah.
And oftentimes kids are putting things in their mouth because of the suckling need, right? They haven't outgrown that. It's comforting, it's regulating, but they're also just experiencing the world through their mouths. And so redirection, offering choices, giving substitutions, works with all ages of kids. Let's see if I can get this to work right. Provide positive reinforcement. So when they do the thing that you've been hoping they do, praise them. Tell them, I'm so proud of you. That was a wonderful choice. Thank you for putting your shoes on all by yourself today. Whatever it is. The other part of positive reinforcement is to praise the kids who are doing the thing that you want the other child to do. So in chapel, I have been praising the kids who are standing on the right carpet. I have been saying, I love how you came in and sat down so-and-so. Be specific. Let the one child who's doing the right thing know that they are doing the right thing, but also the other kids are going to develop a sense of, I want that too. That is part of their emotional development. They're going to want that too. All right. Sorry, my notes decided to reset to number 1. want to provide self-calming ways. We want to provide self-expression outlets. So if we are having an issue where they do need to calm down, let's offer them choices of how to calm down. Instead of offering them, go to the calm down center, would you like to squeeze this pillow, or would you like to do some deep breaths with me? Also, one of the trainings that I went to last year was on disrupting disruptive behaviors. And one of the number one things you can do to disrupt disruptive behaviors is to have them take 2 sniffs in and 1 blow out. It stops their brain from circling, from spinning, from feeling out of control. You might have to do it 5 times, but it creates this stop that a deep breath in and a deep breath out doesn't do. Once we have disrupted, we can take those deep breaths, but we have to disrupt the cycle of the brain before we can do the deep breaths. But also some ways to be self-expressive. I'm feeling angry right now. What do I like to do when I'm angry? Let's find places in our room where we're allowed to be angry. Can we beat on a drum? Can we punch a pillow? Can we draw angrily with a marker? Like, figure out what your kids, because remember, everything needs to be individualized. What do your kids need to express themselves safely without hurting others and without causing a ruckus? It's going to take some creativity. We can brainstorm. We can talk. We can do observations and think things through. We can throw everything at the wall like spaghetti until something sticks. Okay? And then next year when you have new kids, we're going to have to do it all over again. Let's be teaching them social emotional language. I see that you are feeling frustrated. I hear that you are sad. I see that you are angry right now. Instead of addressing the behavior, don't hit your friend, I see that you are frustrated with your friend. Let's interrupt their feeling, acknowledge it, and get to the bottom of the behavior rather than only addressing the behavior. Yeah.
Can we ask them, how can I help you feel that, or something like that?
Yeah, so when we get to restorative justice, you're going to love the questions that come up with that. But we definitely want to make sure that we are giving them that emotional language. So whenever we can, circle time, Bible time, at lunch, let's use words that describe our emotions. Let's make faces. Let's show puppets. Let's do things that give them that vocabulary so that when they are feeling frustrated, they can say, I'm feeling frustrated. Or when they are feeling mad, they can say, I'm feeling mad. What does it feel like when our bodies are mad? Let's all talk about that. What does it feel like? And they can give us, how they feel. When I feel mad, my heart beats really fast. Or when I feel mad, my head hurts, When I feel mad, my eyes go blank. Who knows? They can tell us, though, And then we're going to encourage empathy. What you do affects how our community feels. Again, I say the word community because we want them to feel like they are a part of something bigger than themselves. When we feel like we are a part of something bigger, we want to help the thing that is bigger, right? That's going to distract me.
I thought I saw something crawling on the wall, that's everybody else seeing. That was good.
Let's see if I can get the last ones to come up. There they are. So then we also want to build the capacity to manage wait times, to manage sharing, to manage cooperating. Again, it's going to be a practice thing, right? Can we wait for 2 seconds? Great job, right? Like, let's praise the small things, and then let's practice waiting. Instead of it only being waiting in line to go outside or only waiting in line to wash our hands, let's practice it sometimes. Okay, guys, we're going to practice waiting, or we're going to practice sharing. Let's practice the things we want them to do well. And let's make it teachable moments when they're calm rather than being reactive. Provide developmentally appropriate curriculum. I think we do that well. And then preventing troublesome situations. If you know that there is one toy in your room that everyone's going to fight over, we need to do one of two things. Remove the toy or get 2 or 3 of the toy. Those are our options. That, there are other things that are troublesome. If you know that 2 kids sitting together at lunch at the same table is going to cause a food fight, let's make sure those 2 kids don't sit together at lunchtime until they've practiced other skills. Alright, so behavior is communication. When we take this viewpoint that all behavior, everything, hitting, screaming, biting, pouting, and those are the things that are outward. There's also these behaviors that are inward, right? Not wanting to participate, not sharing during circle time. We don't get onto those kids because they're not being disruptive, but we need to realize that what they're doing is communicating something. Maybe it's that they feel unsafe sharing. Maybe it's that they're not listening enough or grasping or seeing what you're asking them to do. Like, it's not working for them. There's a disconnect. There's a lot of behavior that is not disruptive that still is communication. And so we need to ask ourselves things like, what is the child trying to tell me? What need or desire is not being met at this time? Has the child tried to communicate in this way before? And if so, what was the outcome of that interaction? And those last 2 questions come down to this. Oftentimes, kids will do what has worked for them before. And even if what they got was negative attention, but they wanted attention, they will continue to do the thing that gets them negative attention. One of the things that the courses really go into is deliberate ignoring. I'm sorry, I don't listen to kids who are whining. When you're ready to speak to me, I would be happy to chat with you. I'm sorry, kids who scream at me need to wait their turn. Always lead with empathy. State how it makes you feel. When you scream, it hurts my ears. It makes me feel nervous when you scream or upset when you scream. Use language that shows that you have feelings too. And then know that if they are doing things that has created a reaction in the past and you don't want to continue those types of reactions, then take deliberate time to ignore them. Not ignoring a child, but ignoring the behavior. If a child is doing something like walking away from circle time over and over and over again, because they know that you will then stop circle time and pick them up and move them back to the circle, they have now got what they wanted. Individualized attention. If it is possible to ignore them, even for 30 seconds, ignore them. Let them see that what they are doing is not making you come to them. And then stopping to ask yourself these questions does not excuse the behavior. We're not creating excuses. You will still address the situation, but if you are prepared to address it as communication, you will be more effective when you recognize what they are communicating to you. Doing so will help you separate the behavior from your personal feelings about the behavior. This means that a statement such as, "He does this to get under my skin," becomes, "He's communicating a need for attention." If we are addressing what they are communicating rather than what they are doing, we will be more effective in our guidance. Let me say that again. If we are addressing what they are communicating versus what they are doing, we will be more effective. We often jump on the behavior rather than asking why the behavior. All right, we've already alluded, yes.
Sorry. Again, but with our friend. I mean, they would act out like regular, like even with praise and
Yes.
redirection.
Our
Okay.
friend was a special case.
Okay,
Our
Okay.
friend would require a individualized plan,
got it. Okay,
okay?
got it. Thank you.
Yeah. We're talking about one-off
In
occurrences, or, you know, it's happening this week, but it didn't happen last week.
Got it. Okay.
But things that are occurring continually, especially if they are not lining up developmentally, chronologically, then those require individualized plans.
Okay.
And there are forms and paperwork that would guide us in what an individualized plan looks like.
Right.
But an individualized plan would include the parents as well.
Got it. Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you. Sorry.
So, 2 functions of behavior. 1, they want to get something. And that could be attention, it could be an item, it could be their way, but they want to get something. The second is to avoid or escape something. So, that also could be escaping your attention, escaping from someone, escaping from things. It's either to acquire something or to avoid something. Those are 2 communication patterns when it comes to challenging behaviors or any behavior. The tendency to communicate in this way applies to young children who have not yet learned to verbally communicate their needs. But it also applies to older children who have extensive vocabularies, but they lack the skills to communicate their needs or desires. So we've got little kids who don't talk, and we've got big kids who don't have the language or the mental function to communicate what it is they need. They can't be self-aware to say, I need attention, right? So sometimes we need to give them the verbiage for that. I see that you want my attention. I hear you. I would be happy to talk with you when. Okay, let's use if, then, when statements. So if they are yelling and screaming, but you know they want your attention, when you are calm, I would love to talk with you. Or when your voice matches mine, we can have a chat. Let's give them the language, but also, like I said before, I see statements. I see that you want my attention. Right now I can't, we're all together. Or you have the same amount of attention that everybody else does. With younger kids, it's gonna look differently. Sometimes you're gonna have to double hip it, you know?
Yeah.
They're gonna want the attention when they need it, and they definitely don't have the verbiage or the developmental skills to know what it is they want. All right, here's your favorite part. We do get to say no.
Yay! We were wondering about that.
Only if they are doing something to endanger themselves, a firm no may be the most effective intervention. However, for day-to-day guidance and behavior management, the positive approach has the best long-term results. So like the professor said, when you want a long-term change, you're going to need to use positive guidance. If you want to stop a behavior now, discipline and punishment will work, but it will not create lasting change. It will stop it for the moment, but it does not change how they feel about themselves or how they feel about what they wanted or didn't want. Giving a child a choice instead of a command may be a better way to deal with the issue. Choices allow children to assert themselves, promoting independence while maintaining your authority. You get to pick the choices, they get to pick which choice. Okay? We don't climb on chairs. Would you like to? This or this. You know, Our feet, and actually a better way to say it, because don't is a no. Our feet are on the ground, or our feet leave the ground when we do outside climbing or when we play on our climbing structure. When I was going through this training, one of the things I texted Kaylee about right away, because there was a lot of block throwing that day in the classroom, was they just told me how to handle block throwing. And this is what they said. We don't throw blocks, but you can go over to our throwing center and throw these cotton balls and have cotton balls for them to throw. Or
eat.
for older kids, we don't throw blocks. We have beanbags to throw at this target. Right? Let them exhibit the behavior they want to exhibit. Earlier today, Coulter was pushing a child on a vehicle that they didn't want to be pushed on. And I said, I see that you want to push something. Here's a lawnmower you can push. And he trotted off with the lawnmower, you know. Let them do appropriate behaviors in appropriate places. Not all behaviors are completely inappropriate. It's just wrong place, wrong time.